Start with our agenda. I think good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Depends on the kind of location what you are in. And today we are talking on a very interesting topic because in last 2.5 years we have seen a lot of change in the business, a lot of change in the technology adoption, a lot of change in mainly mobile application because even globally, not only from India perspective, but globally, I think customer convenience has been a very uh, strong center point where we all businesses are working on it. So this is how we are trying to adopt the applications, and mobile application is one of them. Uh, Now, from Indian perspective, there were 8 billion UPI transaction last month, right? This is only monthly number volume I'm talking about is, and in the last 1.5 month, I think the kind of uh, banking is being evolved. So digital currency, and in some part of the world, cryptocurrency is a very adaptive, or rather next generation. What we are think we that is what the market is coming up now on new tools, payment tools, and mobile applications. So all these transactions are happening on mobile application. If you see, maybe I think some of us might know about banking, branches, ATMs, and all. But if you ask the new generation, they do not know. They do not know, or they don't want to even go to ATM, right? And they don't want to carry cash. They don't want to forget about branch banking, right? I mean, so eventually, I think all the payment uh, method will become mobile oriented or net banking oriented. From net banking, we are moving to mobile oriented now. Now, India is also aspiring to be a 1 trillion digital economy, and most of the transactions will be going through mobile applications. So, and that is one of the device which is the most, uh, I feel, vulnerable device, because users are installing, customers are installing any application. We have seen a lot of attacks using any desk or remote access application perspective. So there are a lot of things which we are seeing, and at regulator and tri level also there are a lot of developments which are happening to arrest uh, how do we arrange these applications in a early manner, right? So this this kind of domain, this domain right now is so critical, and it is really a time for us to look at it on a mobile security perspective. Now let's understand what are the problems what financial industries is looking at, it is observing it right now, right? So I'll just come to so on. I mean, what do you think? Because in last at least 2.5, 3 years, even before that, those all payment channels were always there. But in last 3 years, in pandemic and all, the kind of uh, adoption has happened. So, what kind of problem what you are seeing from the payment industry perspective? I'm not restricting it. I'm not asking you about your company, but because most of the financial industry are facing the same issue, and maybe one industry what we are facing the issue, even retail industry is also facing the same issue. So from financial industry perspective, what are you seeing that what the customers are facing, what the companies are facing those issues? What is your observation on that?
Yeah, thanks, Anuprita. We need to understand one thing that probably 5 to 10 years ago, the headlines of the newspaper is first the decade or some robbery in some certain banks and looted 30 crores or 30 lakhs or 50 lakh rupees. Now, if you see and watch it very closely, except demand time, you probably would have find any such news in the newspaper or digital channel, any of the digital channels. So what the change has happened? It has happened that uh, probably last 1 or 2 years, people have not gone to the branch. People don't know where is the nearest branch of the bank. He is a customer for last so many years. So everything has now boiled down into one device. This is a mobile device. And in India, whether you are using UPI or using mobile banking apps, it's only if you have the mobile, you can go length and breadth of the entire country. You don't require any hard cash. You don't require anything more. It's only required you have your money in your account and this thing. Now, coming to the second most problem is that from the early childhood, we have been told that never work on your device as an admin. Your laptop, you should create a normal user. But believe me, we are doing so much of transactions, so many important things are there. The administrator of the mobile phone is yourself. It's not the bank. So, and third problem is that if any frauds are happening, the RBI is directly liabiling the banks that you have failed to take reasonable care to protect your customer, your asset. You have to take care. So in such a scenario where we have no control over customers are using 10 different or 100 different apps, downloading from different Play stores or different of the sources, don't know the legitimacy of this apps. They are residing on the same devices. How will you protect the devices, the particular mobile banking apps or UPI apps? The fraud calls are going on from few of the hotspot like Jamtara, like your Asansol, all this build, Dhanbad build. Now, in such a scenario, how will you protect your innocent customer or customers who are not so technology savvy? Now, if you see that probably 5 years ago, the number of smartphones, and now today, you go to the auto driver, to the general laborer who doesn't understand so much of English, but they know how to operate a digital phone. Now they are becoming savvy to do a UPI payment and all these things. Jandan account has been created. Everybody does have an account today. So all this culminated to a very, very wider attack surface where the end customer have very low or no visibility about the security of the things which they are using. So that's the challenging point, and that's we all are addressing day in, day out. So that's basically the problem statement of today.
Yeah. So I think, Sovon, you have really covered from the consumer perspective very well, right? Right from the different generation, age generation, or maybe the different geography, different literacy. Okay, so I think, and the adoption of the mobile, adoption of the payment, new mechanisms. So I'll just move to Kuldeep now. So Kuldeep, the consumer perspective now we know. Okay, now from the bank perspective, from the regulator perspective, what do you think that how companies, not only banks, because I think not only bank, but everybody is facing the same problem, right? I mean, the problems are same, whether we call it as a bank fraud or a OLX fraud, right? Eventually, it comes to money siphoning or other cybersecurity attacks. But today, we are restricting ourselves only on a mobile security. So, from bank perspective, or rather any company perspective, you have a lot of out-of-box products, mobile application. Then we have lot many things. While consumer, as someone said, that consumer, there is no control. We have what kind of applications they download or what kind of behavior the consumer is having. So when you adopt these mobile applications, what are or maybe regulator perspective, what are the challenges? What do you think that the companies or the enterprises are facing?
Yeah, thank you very much, Anuprita. Actually, if you see the journey for India, our society, and the banks and other payment aggregators are instrumental in it. So it is really phenomenal, and over the period now, we have almost everybody. We are covering a major section of our society under this channel. So definitely the growth is very fast, and it was really a I would say a really a long feat for all this our industry players, that we are able to cope up with the demand, and we are able to cope up it with to the satisfaction of the customer. And because of that only, this has been so easy for everybody that they have now onboarded to it. Even though they are not that much computer savvy, still they are using this particular platform. And match that, everybody has actually increased their infrastructure like anything. The regulator, they have framed the policy in such a way that whatever we are offering, that is secure to the customer as far as technology is concerned. They have come up with their master directions on digital payments, and it has gone to so much detailed this technical requirements, which are actually ensuring that whatever products that are on ground, they are meeting the desired level of security. And definitely there are challenges because everybody had to run very fast and they had to meet those requirements. And regularly, even the middle organization, that is NPCI, they are actually monitoring the kind of technical declines. They are monitoring, and everyone is actually pressing hard to see that whatever component they are handling in this ecosystem, that is up and running, and it is meeting the requirement for everybody's actually benefit. So these are the challenges everybody is working, and I would actually appreciate that everybody has played their role very well.
Yeah. I think it's a very different perspective, and you're coming like we have come like, okay, consumer, and what is the service provider perspective, because we all are providing services to our customer, although we also have service providers to whom we engage, but we also provide services to different customers like retail or corporate and all, and mobile becomes by default, right? Whether you have to approve the transaction or whether you have to uh, you know do the transaction. So from that perspective, I'll just go a little wider on that. I'll just move my question to Shiv. So Shiv, you have I'm not introducing anybody because I think all of you are known to everyone. Therefore, I feel that I'll rather take your mind share with everybody rather than giving your introduction, because you guys are veteran in the industry, right? So Shiv, coming to you, you are again another veteran in the industry who is coming from banking industry and now even on a financial industry on a exchange side. So what are you seeing that what is the overall, what are the challenges, what the organization is facing, and then what is the importance of what are the issues what you are seeing on a mobile application security perspective on a financial domain? While there are 10 different companies who provide 10 different applications, and on top of that regulatory is expecting us, even from risk perspective, we want to have a safe transaction processing zone. So what is your view on that?
Hi, Anuprita. See, now, if we see the more digitization is happening, and we keep on changing. Previously, we are using desktop, then we move to the laptop and down to the mobile. And in this digital world, now everything is coming on the mobile application and all. So now securing mobile application is also now becoming a challenge, because we wanted to safeguard complete ecosystems, whatever the endpoint is there, we want. So previously public used to use, to secure the mobile application, we are using WAP, DDoS, MTAPT, MDM, CASB, this kind of solution and all. So, but still the problem, risk is there. So that's why, how to safeguard your core application, which is used by your end user, end user, which is, today most of, if you see, they are using the mobile application. And that's what I see, this is a runtime mobile application is play an important role, because this technology is designed to protect the application from the attackers by blocking them is on real time basis, which is very important, I can say, because you blocking them on the real time, and you're finding out what are the sources or what are the endpoint which is in your ecosystems is defected, and you can find out them and you can alert them. It's like the behavior based monitoring or threat intelligence kind of to detect and block the attacks. So I see invention of these kind of technologies also help us. Still, it's a rat and mouse game.
I completely agree. I think whole cybersecurity is also cat and mouse game, and where we are trying to really catch the mouse or catch the cat, whoever, whatever the other, whatever the way.
But
And
everybody has an era. Like now, if the which we are moving it right now from, like, the everybody is talking about, you name it. Most of the organization, they are coming out, the mobile native kind of applications, whether it is
yeah,
bank or financial institute. I'll talk about the stock exchange. We have grown from last 2-3 years from 2 crore to 12 crore users. So you can understand, suddenly increase of those, and most of them, some of the application we need to provide on the mobile also. So you understand, the values and the threat, so uh, we don't have any option. So the top of that, we have all kind of solution. Now we have find out this runtime mobile application, which is fantastic.
That's very true, actually, Shiv.
And
And which we are saying.
yeah, majorly important point is the real time, threat detection and prevention. That's become very important.
That's true. That's true. I think what we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce the gap between the cat and a mouse, honestly, because again, we can't have everything safe proof, because then we can't do the transaction also. So I completely agree. So now just moving on, like we have seen the consumer perspective, we have seen, I mean, again, which is not in our control. Mobile application development, when we are buying out of box, that is not in our control. And the business wants to have an inorganic growth. And as Shiv said that, okay, even exchange perspective, the exchanges have increased. So business is also not in growth. And what we have in our control is only to reduce the gap. So from that perspective, Manish, maybe I know, but then I would like everybody to understand about, you're taking a lot of, I mean, what are the applications? And as Shiv said that, okay, threat intelligence is very important. Threat management is very important. Now, and you have lot of information which can be mined and which can help the industry to understand about what are the threats which are happening. So I'll stick myself right now on at this time only on what is your observation, what is your analysis on what are the threats which you're seeing it right now, through your tool, through the data, or through the research what you're doing it right now. And what do you think that, the threat perspective, I'm not getting into the solution, but threat perspective, what are you seeing that what is going to be our threat today, what we are facing, and what we might be facing in near future, if you can share that.
Sure. Thanks, Anu. And just to share some information, because we provide very advanced mobile application security based on runtime self-protection model. So last month we have seen more than 200 million sessions we protected using our technology. And our way is like, identify the threat and block it then and there itself. That's how the technology works on the endpoints. Out of 200 million sessions, we have realized that as high as 11% sessions are having one or the other threat. And this is very high. This is very high. Okay. And the primary reason what Sovon mentioned is like lack of awareness among the general public. Okay. Data privacy issues. I personally also believe that India is majorly a Android, economy in terms of Android ecosystem controlling 98% of the smartphone market share. And Android, by nature of our operating system being an open source, is also coming out with a lot of vulnerabilities because different OEMs, different flavors of their operating system, changing it, and there's no standard version. Okay. So Android ecosystem itself is vulnerable, and on top of it, India has always followed a very traditional way, Indian corporations, in terms of development of mobile applications, because we have seen and mobile application being developed either in-house or through some third-party vendor, and the same Android developers are fixing VAPT and code-related issues which we are doing. But today, mobile application has moved from these traditional security features to endpoint level controls, because if I take example of a large mobile application having 10 million or 15 million consumers, which means that this app is running on 1 crore devices. You don't know what is the state of 1 crore devices. Now these 1 crore 10 million devices are connected to 10 million network. That brings itself a huge amount of threats back into the ecosystem. Okay? And we call it zero perimeter world or HLS perimeter. So traditionally, these 10 million devices has also become an endpoint for the organization on which their mobile app is running today. Now, having said that, we have also done some advanced research that what kind of security capabilities among top BFSI apps, and we have seen that more than 90% of the mobile applications can be reverse engineered because of the vulnerabilities which are either into the Android Studio or Android operating system, or some lack of vulnerabilities into the mobile application itself. Okay, so it is giving a lot of exposure to fraudsters, cyber hackers, Okay, they are changing up mobile applications, side loading it, trying to do some frauds. Even today, a lot of malwares which has come up now. Recently, RBI issued some guidelines related to Sovon malware. Okay, trying to exploit specifically mobile banking applications by taking a screenshot, screen recording, key logging, taking user ID, password. So that is where we have seen the shift in terms of mobile banking applications. Security shift is changing. Traditional way of vulnerability assessment, pen test may not be extremely relevant. It is required, source code review and all, but the security is now being controlled at the endpoint level where your app is running on the device on which it is installed. So that is where the concept of runtime self protection has been taking shape. RBI actually has been very vocal about it in terms of doing device policy enforcement, in terms of developing anti-malware capability, and that is it is all about endpoint security. So net if you will ask me, I mean India is going through suddenly a huge transformation. We call it digital transformation is all only about about mobile transformation. India is truly a mobile economy. On an average, an Indian is spending 5 hours daily on the mobile phone, and we have already seen highest number of mobile banking transactions originating in India. Some study says that every second payment transaction is actually happening in India, using UPI and digital mobile banking. Okay, but at the same time, the kind of threats what we have seen is one of the highest into the world. Okay, as high as 11%, as high as 90% of the applications can be reverse engineered. 11% sessions about one of the other threat. And we believe that a robust technology as well as a very nicely developed consumer awareness program together has to be driven by the banking ecosystem.
I think that's a very good input, and this input is based on the actual data what you're saying, right? I mean, maybe I think we can just visualize the way we get the threat intel, but when you see this whole analysis, I think it must be you must be getting goosebumps saying that okay, what consumers are doing it, what organizations are doing it, and if you see like there are a lot of statistics. What we see is that in India there is 45% of jump in cyber attacks, which is from October 20 to 2021, and in 2021, March 2021 to March 2022, and 23, I think there is again multifold jump. We are seeing on Netflix there are series like Jamtara, and there was some discussion that there is next Jamtara 2.0 or some similar kind of thing which is happening. And also I was doing some research also while I was presenting to my management. There is there are predictions, and these predictions are not based on the numbers, but there are predictions that what is going to be the economy due to cyber attacks, right? And which is in by 2025 it is going to be 5 trillion, right? Which is more than many countries also, right? And this is going to increase day by day, and these numbers are really shocking. Again, and so last a month back I attended uh, one of the session from industry, from ministry, and there is a lot of things which are happening even at government level. And how do we identify and how do we get the early alert? How do we collaboratively work and attack those? And even there also they were talking about the kind of attacks which are happening. The major attacks are happening not only on ransom, because ransomware is the one where we have seen which just disrupt your business system. But the top one of the top attack type is your phishing attacks. Okay, and all these phishing attacks mainly are due to the remote application, or maybe vulnerability on the mobile, or maybe OTP sharing. So there are a lot of type of attacks which are happening, and again these are based on the device and the mobile application. So now I think, knowing we all know that there are a lot of problems, and these are again not specific to India. Well, I was in Middle East, and I saw the kind of OLX kind of QR code based attacks which are happening, or phishing kind of attacks which are happening. Even in Middle East also, I saw the similar kind of trend which is happening. So this is a global trend which is happening. So the dark web or hackers do not have any discrimination. Their objective is very clear. Wherever there's a money, go and attack that. So I think the objective, vision, mission is very, very clear to everybody, and collaboratively they work. And I think this knowledge series will help us also to defender to collaborate and try to attack the problem sooner the better. Yeah. So now we'll see what kind of solutions what can be done, right? Although most of the companies say, oh, it's not my problem, it's customer's problem, customer problem, mobile's problem, OEM's problem. But how do we jointly work together and find out the solution? So I'll just come to Kuldeep, that Kuldeep, from the banking perspective, like what do you think that from although the problem, consumer problem, someone was talking about it, but I'll more that problem to you, because everybody is working on different way. Government is also working at different level. So from consumer perspective, what do you think that OTP sharing, consumer has shared OTP, and well, I was talking about I4C. So there was one very interesting discussion which was happening, right? Right of now we were talking from technology to the regulator. Now the discussion was happening, and which I feel that makes sense, is from technology to consumer, and now regulated entity, and now from consumer, how does accountability shift to a regulated entity? That even if your consumer has made a mistake, regulator need to provide the digital platform which is safe from the consumer perspective. So that shift is what is being talked about. It's at a initial, very, very initial thought, and I'm sure between 3 to 5 years, I think this will be, I mean, that is what my guess is, but I think soon this might be enforced by the regulator. So what do you think that from a consumer perspective, what we can do it, which will help to protect the consumer interest, at the same time provide the digital payment platform or channel to the consumer? Kuldeep, you're on mute. Kuldeep, you're on mute.
Yeah, so actually, this is really a challenge for us as this payment industry participant, because especially the regulated entities, because if you see the RBI guidelines on limited liability, so already if some issue with the bank or with the environment, the banks are supposed to refund the money to the bank, to the customer, sorry. But even they are regularly actually pushing and ensuring that whatever on ground frauds are happening, it should be reported to them, to the regulator. And there are so many guidelines and clarifications they have shared. So over the period, the objective is that we are increasing the share of whatever cyber frauds are happening, it should be reported. So definitely there is going to be a more and more push on the banks and other intermediaries that we should actually try to actually educate the customers, and at the same time see that this trend should reverse somewhere down the line. And the challenge is that the user on ground is actually having very less understanding of the cyber hygiene on ground. If you see, we are using Android phones, and the upgrades are even not costly at all. It is provided free of cost by the OEMs. But still, if you find the number of users who are on their previous OS versions, that is very significantly high. And we all know that those are having multiple open availabilities. And when we see some flashy news on the media that, look, he had done nothing, the user had done nothing, no OTP, nothing, but still some kind of bigger fraud has happened. If somebody tries to drill down it on the devices and all, definitely it comes out that there are certain gaps, and there are certain older OSs that were running on those devices, and user was not aware, or they were not upgrading because of just lack of awareness. So definitely there is a ground for user awareness, and that is the only key. And at the same time, we can also, as a collective, this ecosystem, we should also try to somewhere down the line start supporting non-supporting the older OS versions on the mobiles as well. That will also somewhere down the line actually reduce the risk in the environment. And we also are actually although we should also provide the greater means and the easy access to the customer so that they can report the frauds. And because we also have a regulatory mechanism in place now, although it is still building up, that whenever there is a fraud, the ecosystem gets involved and they try to stop the funds of the fraud. So the easier access we will provide to our customer for reporting, and at the same time, this ecosystem in under this leadership of I4C, when it becomes actually smooth, then only we will be able to actually address this problem holistically and more efficient way.
Okay, I think what you're saying, it makes sense, because whatever we do is going to be reactive, and user knowing is always going to be, I mean, a very, very proactive action. But whatever you do it, I mean, there'll be one mistake and then you're just going, may land up in a dipshit, right? I mean, your money is getting siphoned. So becomes difficult, but we can't avoid using mobile applications, right? Because that is the next era which we are seeing that is going to happen. The generation, the new generation is, they do not want to, convenience is very, very important for them, because they have not seen the hard time what we have already seen, and they don't have time, right? Life is very, very fast. So, and we are dependent on many, right? We are dependent on consumer, we are dependent on service provider. So now just coming to Sovon, like, even every organization will have multiple mobile applications, right? Multiple product development vendors. The way we put responsibility on consumer to be aware about it, it also becomes difficult for us also to have mobile applications which are mature all the time, right? We can't expect that every application service provider will be that mature to provide us the safe mobile application. And even if they provide safe, let's say tomorrow, whatever is safe tomorrow need not to be safe. There are so many vulnerabilities which are coming in. Now, in this case, in such a dynamic environment, like, what do you see as a solution for the mobile applications? What companies can adopt, which is easy, controllable, and manageable? So, what are those quick ways? What you have a suggestion for, our all participants you would like to share with them?
So, Anuprita, the answer has been lies in the very old proverb. Two proverbs I will tell you. To save your feet, you cannot cover the entire world with carpet. Wear a pair of shoes. Second thing is that by closing your eyes, your enemies will not go away and your risk will not reduce. So you should have a third eye to see what is in between here and there. So what I say, first thing is that you should wear a pair of shoes, is that you cannot control millions of or billions endpoint or mobile devices where the users are admins and the human beings are the weakest link. There are so many Android flavor, outdated flavor, malwares in terms of mobile apps, which is residing on the same mobile. So the better way that your mobile application should be able to protect itself. Containerization is one of the solution. So it should, and second thing is that it should not close its eyes. It should be aware of the environment where it is living, who all are its immediate neighbor, how they want to interact with it, whether there is a remote controlled or remote software, where there is a vulnerable network, where there is a malware, where that data spoofing, screen capturing, all these things are happening. So the solution is that we cannot control everything, or we cannot restrict the user to use certain flavors, not or banning a certain flavor. Then the flexibility will go away. So the ultimate solution is that the piece of software which you can control is the mobile banking app. Now think through, you have a vulnerability in a web application. You can do a testing 10 days and you can roll it out the next version. Think about the mobile APK. Can you do that? Millions of customers, their network problem, their all problems, you cannot push or they will not upgrade. And you cannot tell, if till the time you will not upgrade, I will not allow you to transact. No, sorry, you have to give that flexibility. So by the time they will not upgrade, there is a vulnerability. So how in such a scenario where the controls are away from you, how can you protect your customer through that piece of software, that mobile banking applications? I think you need a piece of cover on top of that, which is doing the functionality part, let the mobile banking application do, and the other part, let a specialized thing which is covering and protecting. So it's just like, let's take the best way of the prime minister to deliver for the country and let the security people around the periphery and the ecosystem protect the most valuable things. And that is the ideal way. We cannot uh, control everything. So my way is that the application, mobile banking applications should be much more smarter. They should be much more aware of the environment which they are staying, and continuously we should have metrics that what are the different threats which are originating, what are the different attacks which are happening, and then through we should have some mechanism to create an ecosystem where automatically we'll be able to protect those things.
Okay, I think that's really interesting. I mean, and I think you made the life or rather responsibility much larger for everybody, right? For all the CISOs. Don't tell me reason that application is vulnerable. Don't tell me reason the customer has done this. Don't tell me reason that new vulnerability has come as an
Anuprita,
organization.
you are as a CISO for the banks for so many years, and east or west. Ultimately, the CISOs are the ultimate responsible, and they're the scapegoat. So let us accept that this is already there.
I completely agree. I mean, rather, I feel that, I think including customer, including our partner, including our management, board, regulator is hopeful that CISO is at least that person, who will safeguard my company, who will safeguard my consumer interest. So I think we still are till that time people are hoping a solution from us. I think we are in a good books. Whatever the tough time, what we get it. But I agree with you that I think uh, security people need to be smarter. The organization need to be smarter to ensure that we provide the safe platform to everybody. So it's as good as we need safe physical living space. That way we need safe digital living space also. So now I'll just change the topic to Shiv, because it's his I think it goes a very larger, because Shivan trading like last 2.5 years, there were so many businesses also because of the lockdown, the businesses were stopped, and a lot of people has done the trading, even share in market, because their uh, the bread and butter was coming was stopped. Because of that, they started another way of getting bread and butter, and there were a lot of people which I've seen from small towns, from big towns, dedicated businesses, but a lot of people have started trading in share market, right, and exchanges. And you are again, as someone is saying that, okay, your hands are tied up, but then you are expected to provide safe. Although BSE will not be the direct service provider, but obviously everything in complete supply chain management exchange becomes a very critical, and that giving that strong platform is very important. So what is your view, and what are the kind of smart solutions what you guys have adopted, maybe from your personal perspective or your business perspective, you can share with everybody.
See, Anuprita, right now it's, as you rightly said, it's a mobile era. So mobile security is a crucial aspect for the overall security of any digital platform. And but the day by day it's keep on increasing it. As I said, now we are moving, the different platforms. If you see, I mean, a stock exchanges point of view also, the end user client, or you can say the end user customers today is, if you talk about, the all web, everything. So Android mobile native users are, in a large chunk. So the mobile security has become very essential for anything, and if you talk about how to, uh, pro- you know, another important aspect which I am considering for the mobile application, the overall mobile application security, security is like, uh, put, the, the solutions like MDM, like patch management, and the other security threats. And especially when I'm talking about the like in coding practice, and developers should use the secure coding techniques to prevent their vulnerabilities and all. And so I can say it's a total overall it's a complex issue, but required a multi-layer approach where we can secure the complete mobile security. And that's why number of applications is there, MDM, MAM. You need to educate your employees, conduct a regular audits, or perform a penetration testings. And now we also talking about runtime mobile application protection, which is we are providing this kind of to detecting blocking them in the real time application. And even the behavior based kind of thing is very important, where nowadays detecting these kind of malwares on depending upon the behavior base is also become very, very important, so that we can block the threats. That's what I can say.
Yeah. I think this is really, really smarter way of doing it. I also personally feel that. And just to share with everybody that, see, almost 2 years back, I remember February 2021, there was a RBI guideline which was issued on a payment security guideline, which was initially when this came in, and I felt like, okay, this is really tough to do it. And we have, every company will have multiple applications. But my point is that, there is one body who will, or regulatory body or authority who will start the guideline, looking into it and take a proactive regulatory guideline and fixing the control, or putting the control. So these are the guidelines which has been already rolled out to banking, and soon this will become a norm, or maybe other regulators also may adopt this guideline when they see the benefit, and roll it out to others. So for whoever is not from the banking perspective, I have a suggestion that you should really look at how exactly this can be done. And better to be proactive than reactive, and let's start early than facing the problem, having a push from a regulator and then starting. Rather, we can be a differentiator. Security can be a differentiator. Security can be an enabler for the business also. So I have a suggestion to everybody. You should also start looking into it and do that. Manish, before coming to you, I have one more question. That we talk about uh, consumer, application service provider, so many different unknown areas. So maybe Kuldeep or Sovon, if or rather, I'll leave this question to anybody. Does business also plays a role? And if you think that, also from cybersecurity perspective, we think about early time to detect, right? Short time to mitigate or quicker mitigation. From business perspective, we have seen, right? Credit card, if there is any fraudulent transaction happening, you immediately receive a call. So do you think that even from business perspective, from real-time fraud risk monitoring perspective, these kind of issues can help to alert the customer? So Manish, I'll just request you to hold. I know you have an answer, but I'd like to hear from Kuldeep or Sovon from this perspective.
No, actually, there are certain good technologies that are available, and we all are also trying to actually use it or adopt it as early as possible, because so much research is happening in this area, and there are certain good solutions which are offering or making it easier for us to actually deploy, because we are having multiple apps and going with each and every software vendor to meet those requirements is really, really difficult. So there are certain actually good initiatives by certain companies, wherein like real-time monitoring or adaptive authentication kind of features, or some kind of wrapping, so that whatever is the environment, even though is using not that updated OS or some others, even they have some kind of remote login kind of softwares install, still that app should be able to identify it, and it should try to protect the customer to the fullest extent possible. So definitely that is a very important area, and we people all are working in that direction. This kind of research that companies are doing, that is also very welcome, because this is an ever-growing kind of challenge, and everybody has to work in that direction. So definitely there are very good initiatives, and we all should try to know it, and we should try to adopt it as early as possible.
Okay, I think perfect. Someone, would you like to add anything?
Anuprita, that's what I told.
Yeah. So just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I request everybody, if you really have any question, please put it in the chat box, and so that all our panelists can address your question. If you have any question, please put it on the chat box. Yes, Sovan.
So, Anuprita, I have already told that environmental awareness is very, very important. What is going on the mind? See, 100% secure is a fallacy. Nothing is 100% secure or risk-free. Absolute lies with God. Nobody has ever seen. So nothing absolute security, then absolute, if there is non-existent of absolute, then absolute security is also non-existent. So we need to understand is that it's a cat and mouse game between we deployed something and somebody trying to break, and that's how the game is going on. Now, what is going on in the environment, how people are trying to overcome the control, what are the means they are taking? If we don't understand for and that, then probably we'll be late in the game. So that's where different combination of tools are required to understand the pattern, what is going on in the market, or what malicious users are trying to do, so that my applications can take a cue of that, and then we can leverage it further. So and that's the key point. That's what I told you, that closing the eyes will not save us or keep the enemy away. We should be much more aware of our environment and see what is coming, and then prepare. Is that one way to say for an application is runtime, self-control, what you can see, self-protection, RASP, and all these things are the need of the hour. Initially, they were crafted for the very, very specialized softwares. Now, anything which is away from your control, just like mobile banking apps or UPI apps and all these things, do have a mandatory things that those things are there, those features are there.
Yeah. So maybe just to add, I think it's a very good input, Kuldeep and Sovon, and definitely these are the practical hands-on what you guys have implemented, and there is no alternate to that. Just one more thing is that the way, because card payment industry is very, very matured, but for UPI, digital currency, or QR code based, I think, or mobile based application, that is still maturing it. And I think Manish can really talk about it, but just my experience sharing is that the way you find out what are the where exactly your card is being done. So there are some scenarios which can be done, and even in mobile application also, if you are able to detect that there is some remote application which is installed on consumers mobile, okay, we can get that alert and we can quickly call that customer saying that, okay, this is what, are you genuinely, like Google provides, right? Are you the genuine person? Even same thing, even for mobile application, also similar thing can be done. And although I know the answer, but Manish, can you add that on a business perspective, you would have implemented these kind of alerts, which helps even business to provide the solution, as well as even for business to provide value added service to a customer and ensure that there is there's a very proactive alert which can be done to a customer.
Yeah, very well, Aman. See, the whole concept of mobile application security is moving towards runtime. We talked about RASP, runtime self-protection, which means that now applications needs to be intelligent enough to understand any threat while it is running and do a self-protection. I'll give you a few examples. Once we talk about self-protection, it is not only about cyber security, but also about fraud controls. Because today, mobile banking applications are the most targeted ones for some of the other frauds. So one was talking about, newspaper filled with one of the other, news about money siphon, mobile hacked, all those kind of things today. So our systems can go and identify if there is any active screen mirroring. Okay, imagine a mobile banking app being launched, and if there is a screen mirroring which is happening at the background, or there is a remote desktop access being taken by somebody else, it will go and give an alert to the user, and then it will stop the user. It will tell user, see, there is a screen mirroring which is happening at the background. Do you really want to proceed? And we have seen many times actually users are not aware of. Okay, somebody has taken any task related control from the backend. Okay, I'm calling a user that I'm from the call center. Can you do this? But with the help of technology, actually, we can go and disable such scenarios. Okay. To share some, interesting facts with one of the large bank, we have seen, with millions of users that more than 30,000 mobile screen sharing sessions once we implemented technology on the week one. And in just 8 weeks of time, with the right set of messages and blocking the user journey that time, stopping the user that there's active screen mirroring, it came down by 90% just in 8 weeks of time, because that is the level of awareness which gets created. And by technology also, we go and stop it. So this is one of the most fraudulent scenario which is happening into the Indian market. And with right set of technology put into place, okay, we can go and suddenly help users, okay, who are not actually much tech savvy but have adopted mobile banking system. To share some other similar examples, SMS spoofing, OTP sharing, app spoofing is also very common. Somebody hijacking the control of the mobile application, transferring the control, and all these typical fraudulent scenarios are being controlled using this latest technology, runtime self protection. What we do, and I've already have a lot of experience into the market of implementing such things. He also touched upon RBI compliances, Anu. Okay, apart from fraud and risk management and all these FRM related, these kind of inputs, we give it to the FRM engine as well into multiple places to have intelligent kind of data and statistics. I call it actionable insights, where you can go based on the data analysis, run a consumer awareness program, or stop the user, or take some more actions based on the device IDs. If you see number of threats increasing from the similar devices. Okay. Now coming back to the RBI compliances, it is very much mandatory now to have a very right device enforcement policies. Kuldeep was talking about obsolete Android operating system is still into use by some of the other users, right? So of course there has to be a device policy which needs to be enforced, where the app will work in terms of developer option, screen sharing, screen mirroring, operating system, in terms of Wi-Fi, okay, secure, unsecured. So these kind of security settings we can do. Okay, and that certainly reduces the level of threats to the mobile application. And application itself has to be robust enough, because today threats like tap tampering, reverse engineering are more focused on the transactional systems. Okay, so a comprehensive approach, we call it out as multiple layered approach of device security, network security. Okay, and then application itself has to be robust enough to withstand any kind of threats. Somebody is trying to tamper or read some code and all. Okay, some kind of malware's controls has to be put into place. Fraud controls has to be put into place, and then it makes a comprehensive runtime self-protection kind of environment for mobile applications. Given the fact that we are in a zero perimeter world, okay, and you really do not have any restriction on who is downloading your mobile application from which geography, what is the intention, even if it is a customer, not a customer, but that is bringing huge amount of risk back to the organization. Yesterday itself, I was reading some news about one Canadian airline mobile app getting hacked, and the airline itself was to shut down because they reached at the server side of it, getting the customer data and all, creating millions of dollars of losses just from a hack of mobile application. Okay, so the kind of risk which today mobile ecosystem is carrying is huge, cannot be quantified. And having the right set of multi-layered security controls, fraud controls, malware controls is something which I personally believe is a must for mobile banking ecosystem and any kind of financial mobile applications who is doing transactions into the system. You're muted, Anu.
Sorry. So although we are running out of time, but can I just give in a summary, like, okay, what is, because we know the problems, right? We know the solution also. Some of us have already implemented the solution, but everybody might not have implemented. And maybe I think this is a very, very new area where everybody may not know what exactly the solution is. So can you give about your solution, what you do it? Not in a particular, but you can say that, there are few things which are normal, there are few things which are dynamic, and few things are very tactical. So, and how do you do that? And maybe
Okay.
next 2 to 3 minutes.
Simply speaking, we provide a very lightweight SDK and it gets integrated with mobile application. Okay. And just a 1 day of integration. And it is sitting inside, this SDK is sitting inside the mobile app now. Once published, okay, it goes to all the endpoints bundled up into the mobile application. Okay. And this SDK has the capability to provide, 50 plus security features on the runtime related to application, device, network, which runs in parallel. Once the app is initialized, once the app is running, the security is like a firewall monitoring the mobile application for any kind of threats and frauds and malwares. App is closed, security is also closed because this is meant for protecting the mobile application. And while doing so, it controls all device policies, network security, application, malware controls, fraudulent scenarios I talked about, runtime, remote desktop, or screen sharing, juice jacking, all these kind of fraudulent scenarios we control. And then there is a live dashboard which the mobile app owners get in terms of who is using the mobile app, what kind of threat, and we call it actionable insights, which can be provided for right set of actions. So just in a week's time, we can roll out, very advanced security. And we believe that, decoupling mobile application functionality and security is very important these days, because security is always dynamic. We keep on enhancing new versions and new threats, and that is how this SDK gets on new version. And then we go and just replace the SDK. So very quick integration using SDK approach sitting inside the mobile application, and it can be rolled out to your millions of users.
That's really good, Manish. Although I have seen, and I really have my first to start discussion with you was simple. Being a CISO, as I was seven, the saying that CISO is always on the skateboard. So I was also scared that I'll be on the skateboard for DPS implementation, and I saw that one of the smarter way of implementing the same control across all the applications, so that you implement it in one and that can be rolled out to other applications also. So I think it's a very, very controlled environment and all. So tactically, like weak Wi-Fi, malicious application, this is very dynamic, right? Access from malicious IP or something like that. And that is where your threat intelligence can help also to maintain the dynamic parameters. So I think that's pretty good. I hope everybody has enjoyed. I think we try to cover as much as possible. This recorded version will be available on our, you will receive that. You'll also receive a case study. If you have any question, you can put it on the LinkedIn post, and obviously Manish's team or any one of us will try and reply you on that. So you still have a place to get more and more information. Mr. Naik, now after Manish's explanation, you would have got like, okay, how can you get mobile application device binding? Device binding is very, very, I think, basic thing. But yeah, I think what I suggest, you need to look at it from other dynamic parameters, which are not very fixed, right? Because device binding is a very small thing which can be done. But weak Wi-Fi, malicious application, the different dynamic threats, I think this is where the Protectt.ai kind of solution can help us to get that dynamically and keep on changing it. And also, as I mentioned, that it can also help you to define those business alerts and, giving a quick call to a customer saying that looks like there's some phishing activity which are happening, or there is an account takeover happening or something like that. So it gives a very, very good business enablement actually, and security will be the star in the stardom rather than on a skateboard. That might help. So there is a lot of potential on that. So thank you so much for that. And Mr. Vishal, I think this is completely up to bank whether they provide demographic this thing or not. It is not a technical subject or a business subject. So I think you may just talk to your bank on that. As we had committed, we really got a very good engagement and response. And I'm saying that, okay, this is the second episode. We had last month, we had first episode. Now we have second episode, and we are saying the people are seeing that the benefit out of all this discussion. And these are the discussions which are happening from the people, all the lesson learned from all the senior people who are trying. We are trying to get those experiences for everybody else. And we hope we'll continue this throughout a year. And as we had committed on the engagement perspective, this engagement is not on a perspective on that, but we always say that, hackers collaborate, but defenders do not collaborate. And this is our one of the step or one of the initiative to build a collaboration between the defenders. So this, and therefore we really want to motivate and, motivate people to join these sessions. And therefore we try and carve out, some kind of ideas where we can spread this word of knowledge sharing with as much as possible. And there was one contest which we had done that whoever has reposted, we will have a AirPods as a gift, as an appreciation, token of appreciation for you. So Jikin, can you just please put Wheel of Fortune for the repost? So this is the contest for AirPods. Jikin, I hope you have covered my name also, although he is not going to give me, but but still my name, if it appears, I'll feel happy about it. By the time the name comes up, I suggest all of you, like for the next one, try and get more people, so that we also get more people to share the knowledge, taking the initiative, as well as taking the experience from someone and implement it. So Deepak, are you there, Deepak Patil?
Yeah. You can see in the participant list.
Oh, perfect. Deepak. Yes, I hope you have not changed your name, but we'll give that benefit. So Deepak, congratulations. I think this is the first time we are getting one person in a first Wheel of Fortune. Deepak, congratulations. And we will send the airport to you. Jikin, can you get the second Wheel of Fortune for all the people who had registered? So Manish, this topic was very, very interesting, and Sovon, Kuldeep, and Shiv were very good, very senior practitioners who has really a couple of decades of experience, and their experience will definitely help everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, Shiv, you missed the opportunity, Shiv. Jikin, can you put the second Wheel of Fortune? So Sudipta, this question we will include it in our case study. Yeah, Mr. Case, you won Eco Show last time. This time we'll give opportunity to someone. Mahesh Kishti from United Overseas Bank. Mahesh, are you there? Oh, wow. This is the first time we have a record. In the first wheel we have got this. The person has also joined. Congratulations, Mahesh. Jikin, you can please send your address to Jikin, and Jikin will ensure that you receive your token of appreciation. Jikin, can we have the second one? Yeah, Vijay Kumar from Indospace Group. Vijay Kumar, Vijay, are you there?
Yeah.
Wow. I was just checking, is this the dream that, all the three Wheel of Fortune are coming at the same time? So that's good.
Fantastic.
That's good. Congratulations, Vijay. Vijay, we will send you, if you are sending us the email ID, okay, we can send you the image of Eco Show on your email ID. You send us your home address, we'll send you the physical Eco Show. Congratulations to all the winners, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for Kuldeep, Sovon, Shiv, and Manish. I think Manish, it was a very, very interesting topic. Actual usage, actual benefit, I know because I have personally used and we have implemented, and we are seeing a lot of benefits. Although everything we could not do it this time, but we will cover that in our case study and we'll circulate it to everybody. If you have any additional question, please put it on the over weekend, please put it on LinkedIn, and we will definitely include all these questions into a case study. So thank you so much, everyone. I think it was really lovely having discussion with all the panelists. It was very, very active participation from all the participants, and we look forward to see you next month again. Thank you so much. Good night.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Anu, Kuldeep, Sovon, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
Sovon, Kuldeep, Shiv, Manish. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all
Thank you.
participants. Thanks again also.